Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Training Gain Podcast. I am John Kioskarides.
I'm John DePaulo. How you guys doing?
Welcome to another week. We want to add on to what we had talked about last week, which we had touched up on nutrition tips and supplement tips and all that good stuff. Went into length about glutamine. I want to go into a huge topic, which is just diet. But first, we were talking before this, and I was telling you that I take different types of multivitamins. And when I had first taken them, now I take these, I forgot the brand name, but they're organic capsules that have a lot of the organic herbs and nutrients.
So natural.
Very natural. Yeah. It doesn't, when you put it in your mouth, it doesn't taste that great, but I'm an advocate for it because I like what it's doing for my body.
Got it.
But I was taking Centrum before, and you had a comment to make on that because I thought it was really interesting, and I want you to touch up on that before we go into this.
It's very interesting. You, amongst many people, have taken that.
I took it for years.
My name is John. We take what our moms give us, and if we don't look at the credibility of the supplement as we get older, we don't realize what we're consuming. So Centrum, when they make the pill, like any other pill, they use a coating and they use a binder, and they press the pill together. That's how they make it. Do you know what they use as a coating and a binder to press that pill?
No.
Talcum powder and wax. Last time I checked, talcum powder was for your fucking feet. Now your body's assimilating. Is that what we're up to these days?
Why do you think that if a company is choosing to do something like that
cheap,
in a multivitamin?
Cheap, cost effective, they'll make more money on the return.
What would you say to look for if you're looking for a multivitamin supplement?
I would say look at the first 5 ingredients. Which are whatever, because they're the most abundant in there. So I see. So let's say I'm looking for, what can we look for? Okay, apple juice. I want high quality apple juice. Some people say, no, I like the way this one tastes better. It could be a reason. They could have corn syrup in there. That adds to it. So I look for the least amount of ingredients. So when I look for apple juice, I look for apples and water. That is it. I'm not looking for fructose. I'm not looking for this. I'm not looking for that or corn syrup. That's it. Cut it at the root. Give me really what's most abundant in that bottle. I know it's apples and water. There's no other binders. There's no no thickening agents, no syrups, trans fats.
That's bad. That made a lot of sense to me, even when you were telling me about different styles of proteins, because I would look at the first 5 ingredients like you were saying, and I said, oh, wow. You're right. These are the ones that are most abundant inside this, and some of them were not the best. So, best thing to do is if you're looking for any type of supplement, it's plain and simple written on there for you. Just look at the first couple of ingredients, and if it's not something that is going to be what you want in your diet /life, then don't take it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. I thought it was just super interesting.
Of course.
Always, brother. Now, going into diet. I always was an advocate of talking about there's no right diet for everyone. I see so many different diets out there with like paleo diet, which is like the high in fat and high in protein, and then basically little to no carbs. And these kinds of things always struck me as odd because your body needs carbohydrates. And I feel like everyone qualifies that as the enemy when they're trying to get into a diet because they say, oh, I'm having too many carbs. That might be true for your body, but your body still needs them in a small abundance, at least, in order for you to have maximum either weight loss or maximum growth.
Mental capacity.
It feeds your mind.
Did you know every cell in the body functions on glucose?
Yes.
What do you think that converts to? Carbohydrates.
Now, why do people have this depiction of it that they're so bad for you? I know it's
because
societal,
they listen to a lot of people. Low carb diet. Carbs make you bloated.
That goes back to these I guess projections through marketing of, oh, you want to lose weight, go low carb. Where do people define that in the middle, or where do they find the middle ground of
I wish
carb?
I knew. It scares me. But I will say this. What does the word macro mean? It means large. What are the three macronutrients? You remember?
Isn't it carbohydrates, right? It
You
is
said it, not me.
protein,
You said it, not me.
and it is fats.
Protein, carbs, and fats. Thank you. What does that mean? We need them in larger dosages, right? Your brain functions on glucose, but most people, nah, I got coffee, I'm good. I get it, but then you crash. You understand?
Yeah.
Your body needs certain macronutrients, believe it or not, abundantly. Back then, most of them live off of lard and fat. You know that? The fat of an animal. That's what humans were growing up eating. Protein. It didn't get all complicated with carbohydrates, really. But nowadays, they get crazy with the stuff they put in them.
That's also
You know what I'm
a
saying?
really good point that you said that, because it's
Like
about the source of
potatoes.
it. Yeah.
You go buy a bag of potatoes, it might sit there and say vegetable oil. Why are you putting that in there for? Just go buy the potato and slice it up yourself.
Right. And I feel like there's so many different types of either chemicals or artificial things that are put inside these
Yeah, man.
foods
Yes,
that
yes.
break down into just garbage inside your body. And I'm
Your body doesn't recognize it, and
right. And it's, just talking about a diet, that's what we're on now. It's not about, hey, if you want to have a slice of pizza one day, that's not going to be healthy, but fine. It's okay for you. You're rewarding yourself. But if you want to have a structured diet, it more or less is having to do with, okay, what's going to be best for my body? How do
correct.
I know that? I feel like with people that go on these either high fat, high protein diets and no carbs, they lose the weight as a quick fix. And then when they go back to eating normally, they're like, oh, why did I gain all this weight back? Because they're eating the carbohydrates, they're pumping the water back into their system, and they start to explode a little bit more.
Well, they never lost weight to begin with. Sorry. It's just expelling water between your skin and your tissue. So when the first thing you start a new diet, excuse me, you don't lose fat. It's not normal. Not even a man with fast metabolism could do that one day. But your body expels water. So you're on a new diet, you're cleaning up all the bad stuff you used to eat in your previous diet. Wouldn't it make sense if you're holding any kind of water that will cause blood pressure to raise, things like that? That's expelling. Maybe your face got a little leaner. Maybe your arms are a little less flabby. Lose water first. So 3 or 4 weeks in, oh no, I'm not losing weight anymore. What do you mean? This is where it starts. That's your body going, okay, what's next? I expelled all the water in between my skin and my tissue. What are we going to do next? Because you're relentless. You're going to the gym. You're not going to stop. But how do we do it correctly? And that's when you got to start training hard.
Well, it's the same thing too, and I attribute that to when doing your contest prep and going through bodybuilding contests. That's the goal, is to get rid of as much water as possible between your muscle tissues so that you have more definition on stage, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
what
also
I've noticed
unhealthy.
that has helped me even more is that, you kind of have to get off your strict diet at least 4 or 5 days before your show happens, because you need to replace all the nutrients that your body is actually used to fill up your muscles a little bit more. And I feel like even in that vein, people are afraid to do that. They want to diet up until the day of the contest or even a day before, and it's like your body can't process all those nutrients inside your body within 1 day period. It's impossible. You need
No.
several days to fill up.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you look better after a show, you look better after you pose, you look better at the night show.
I was just picturing a lot of things when you were saying
Yeah.
that, how people look so full, maybe like a day after, or they look so full right before they go on stage, or they look so flat and depleted too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these structured things, and now going back to someone that is trying to get into a diet for the first time and they want to lose weight, it's
Got it.
very, very common. What would you recommend to them when you're assessing them? You're in the assessment phase. You know that they want to lose weight first,
What is
and
your
they're coming
movement
to you.
like? What is your movement like? What do you do on a daily basis? That's what I would always ask first.
Let's say I'm a 9 to 5er
Okay.
and I sit at a desk
Okay.
daily, and now I'm trying to incorporate losing weight throughout my day.
Okay. You're a 9 to 5er. You're trying to find out how to lose weight day by day.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you training before you go to work? Are you training when you go after work? That's the first thing I want to know is, how are you moving? Is there movement? Some people just say, how could I lose it here at work? Some people come at me like that.
Yeah, let's say you're just getting into your car, waking up, you have
Some
a little breakfast, you sit at your desk all day, you come home, you have a family, you're cooking dinner, and then you go to
okay,
sleep.
okay. I got advice for that. Why don't you just do functional movements? Do a half plank by your desk. I'm sure there's going to be 60 minutes of a lunch break. Don't eat yet. Spend 30 minutes, be disciplined, maybe do some planks on the floor, do some push ups. Just start with movement. It doesn't matter if it's in a park, in a closet, a big enough closet, a
Right. That's
walk
what you're
to a
saying. It's
closet.
like you have time. If you have time at your desk, quote
Just
unquote, you
move.
can do it anywhere. Right.
Move. Just do something outside your typical routine. You work 9 to 5. I get it. You got kids afterwards, and a wife. I get it. There's got to be time for you, though. If you're not, you're starting the down spiral in your life. How are you going to affect you in work? How you around your kids, around your wife? So create space, man. Got 60 minutes. Okay. I can't eat until I do this. You got to reward yourself with that. There's a reason that you got to eat food. You train hard, create a demand, then eat it, and then just see day by day how it works.
Now, what
You're going to
about
start to notice a difference.
I even noticed the difference in myself, and I'm an active guy, but
Fucking fly.
they're flying, they're quote unquote flying.
Never understood that purpose in life. Yeah.
So let's say you have someone
Scales.
that has like a diet, right?
Right.
That needs help with a diet, and they are a 9 to 5er. What would you recommend for someone like that is trying to lose weight?
For starters, now you just gave me a lot about yourself. You're sitting all day long. So I'm not going to give them heavy processed carbs because apparently it's probably going to blow them up. There's no movement and they require energy. So you can't sit and eat a lot of carbs and not move. So probably more like sweet potatoes, like dried carbohydrates. I would try to give them maybe about a little less than a gram per pound of body weight just to maintain what muscle they have. Because to give them more doesn't make any sense. There's no movement. Now, if the circumstance changes, John, what do I do? Eat the same things? What do you mean? Well, my situation's changed. I created an hour for the gym. Oh, okay. Now we go a little more into the starchy carbs. You understand?
Yeah,
Because now there's execution, there's movement.
that makes sense for me because when
But do you see how instinctive it is? It's not one thing. People don't
yes,
know. And you got to look at a person's situation. You got to be instinctive. You got to be ready to change something or propose an idea depending upon what they want to do. You got to look at it.
yeah, I agree. When people would approach me with this kind of a topic, I'd always be able to help them maintain, and I'd always say to them, I don't do diet structures anymore because I have other things going on. But I was always so passionate about it and still am, which is why we're talking about
I
this.
love it, man.
But
I love it.
it's such a main component. And when people would come to me, I'd say, okay, what foods do you like?
Right.
What foods do
Okay.
you like to have to eat? Oh, I
Versus
like this
versus
and
what
this.
they eat, you ask them?
Yeah, like versus I want to hear the whole compendium
I
of,
see.
hey, what do you like to have? Whether it's something you're injecting like fast food or it's pizza or it's
Get an
whatever, right?
idea of what they're doing.
And okay, great. You like to have this and potato chips. Why don't we take this out? Let's put maybe having if you cannot not have a bag of chips for the day, why don't you try having a bag of baked chips or something
Oh,
at
shit.
lunch?
Okay, I see.
Or hey, let me see what food choices that I can now take out that are going to do damage to you. The fried foods are going to be pulled out.
What could you replace it with?
I replace it with stuff that is more fun for them. Like, let's
Okay.
say, for instance, I say I like a piece of, I don't know, fried chicken, or I want to have a hamburger from McDonald's. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Something like that. French fries. I'm a big, I'm big on French fries. It's my weakness, and potato chips. I will admit
I
that.
love that too. I second
But,
that motion. Oh
but
shit.
I mean, my body goes through a process of if I eat that kind of stuff for too long of a period, it starts to say, hey, I can't do this anymore. And it usually happens within 2 or 3 days because I'm so ingrained to eating healthy and a healthy
Yeah.
lifestyle.
It says,
But
hey, may I take
occasionally I do.
residency right here, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Get a chin strap.
Yeah, most definitely. Or the lower waist for guys, especially. It hits your lower abs.
Like two ball sacks hanging from your chin. Like a fucking Idaho potato stuck in between a potato.
It's such a interesting way to look at it, but it's true. It goes to places that you don't want it to be on, and it looks,
Unnecessary.
yeah, it
It
looks
looks unhealthy.
unhealthy for you.
Remember, your skin is your largest organ, so they look like they're retaining water here. So there's something wrong that has to go away.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to it, people would ask me, and I'd say, okay, let me try to inject something fun instead of having a McDonald's burger or just a high calorie burger. Okay, let's try something a little bit different. Maybe try having lentils. It provides the same amount of protein. Okay, you're gonna have a good amount of carbs in it too, but these are all healthy. They're going to be producing nutrients that you need for your body.
Mm.
Or hey, if you like a piece of chicken, I guarantee you, if you tried the baked chicken, it's inexpensive too. You buy a whole chicken, you pull it apart, it's delicious,
Mm.
and you're gonna like the taste eventually because you have that goal in mind. And again, it's about focusing on your pathway now. The ones that I feel like don't really stick to the diet
Yeah.
have a hard time finding the goal at the end where they need to attain,
Because they're
right?
already closed-minded. That's why.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to be open-minded when you're getting into it because you're right, it is a lifestyle change.
Correct.
You can't go a quick solution. Everyone always wants a quick fix,
Yeah.
especially in America and the United States. I feel a quick fix is a quick solution.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what I need to know right now.
May I inject something real quick in here? Okay. Do you know why, or have you ever asked yourself, what makes people go to McDonald's? I know it tastes good, but what makes people go in there?
Isn't the study that they dig on it is that when you eat enough of it, it has it has this release of a reward release in your body from having too much sugar.
What do you mean, satiated cells?
Yeah, like a pleasure. It activates the pleasure
Yeah,
sensors.
yeah, maybe when you're 17, 18.
Right.
When you're 30, you're sitting in a car like this after you eat it. Can't move. You're incapacitated. Do you know what it is really, though? It's a fucking mineral deficiency, bro. A mineral deficiency.
That's interesting. Can you
Yes.
elaborate?
Well, what is one of the minerals? Sodium. What's McDonald's high of? Nitrates. What is nitrates? You tell me. Salt, right? Preservatives, right? That's why they go and they have McDonald's. And then what happens, they get hooked on the taste. And sometimes they might make rationale out of it. Look, I'm getting protein. It's a burger, right? And there's cheese.
I've heard that quite a lot of times.
You're wearing it on your chin right now. I see it. I see
Yeah.
the hallmark.
And especially, I mean, even from someone that I haven't had fast food in quite a long time, but I've had it before. And occasionally, yeah, you know, maybe I'll get something if I want to activate that pleasure sensor for myself, right? And I'm not doing any shows or anything like this. But yeah, I agree with you. It is the process stuff that really makes a big difference versus we call it's like an organic source here, but I feel like everywhere else in the world, it is what's on the table and what is, you know, grazed or made in a farm,
Yeah.
you know, where it's actually coming from healthy sources. Where I feel like over here, there's so much processed stuff
Tons.
that you have to now look for the organic package, which now holds like you want to buy a piece of organic quote unquote steak, which is supposed to be real steak, you know, cut from a farm raised cow, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting it for like
yeah.
16 or 17 bucks. And it's ridiculous to me is that how much is done in society for us today that we're now having to pay top dollar for what's healthy for us in our bodies. So let's create
Seemingly
50,000
healthy.
fast food chains and sell a burger for $2.
Ugh.
You know, it makes no sense to me.
I guess it's cheap, it's convenient to them, but they really don't care about your health. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know.
Right. And
see what the mighty dollar does to your fucking head.
You know,
forget about your better others, fellow others.
Going back to that, because I want to touch up on this point
Yeah.
of let's say
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of money and you want to eat healthy now.
Okay.
What I did, because I was in that place at one point in my life where I was, you know, I was in LA and I was running through the grind and the gambig and I had to make ends meet, but I still wanted to eat healthy. And so they had dollar stores there, but they're not all created equal. Dollar stores there actually had products that you can sustain yourself with on a very low budget.
Like what, protein bars and stuff?
Not even that. It would be stuff like dollar stores here on the East Coast would have, you know, something in there that would be like $4 maybe or $3. And it's a dollar store. There, everything is specifically $1 and they have produce if you need it.
I already know where this is going.
Yeah, so I would go in there and I say, okay, if I want to eat on a budget, I got myself lentils, I got beans, I got rice, I got potatoes.
Excellent.
All these main sources that you can buy for yourself on a really low budget, and you can make meals for yourself. I mean, Google is, you can Google whatever you like to find a good healthy source of those products. And you say always incorporating greens. You know, there's broccoli that you can get, it's inexpensive. There's arugula you can get, it's inexpensive. And that can sustain yourself and really kickstart something that will change for the rest of your life, and you get into these healthy habits.
Yes.
And it becomes a lifestyle because of the way you look. So trying to lose weight, trying to gain weight. If you're an athlete, you want to gain muscle. That was always my problem. I was always very skinny and I needed to gain weight to be athletically capable to do something else.
How'd you do that?
Well, I started with push-ups and pull-ups.
Okay.
In my room, I had a pull-up bar. I did push-ups every day, and I
Wow.
couldn't. I would get maybe 5, maybe 2 one day, and then I always recommend people that if you're gonna fail, keep going because you're gonna get conditioned. You're gonna get stronger, and so that's what was happening. Then I
Wow.
evolved to diamond push-ups, and I can get 2 of those or 3 of those, and then they evolved and evolved. But eventually, I had to get myself into a facility that was equipped.
Quick question. How old were
Yeah.
you when this was going on? When you said, I got to create a greater threshold to put some muscle on?
I
14, 15?
was I was about 16.
That's
Yeah, I was about
respect, man. That's
16.
respect. You did something at a young
Yeah,
age.
because I was playing
Wow.
basketball and I was, I played point guard. I
Play
also had a good shot.
football too?
I played football recreationally. I never played on teams, but I was always so fast that
Explosive.
I
Yeah.
would always play something like a running back because I was really hard to catch. And if you gave me the ball and you gave me a route in the line, I was gone.
Wow. Is that why you laughed when I said I wanted to challenge you in a race?
Yes, because I haven't lost.
You knew that you got a fucking a rocket up your ass or something, right?
Yeah,
Jet rocket, I was going to say.
listen, I've been challenged before, even by people that are athletes, and I haven't lost. But I'm not going to say that I'm the fastest guy in the world because I'm definitely not. There are athletes and Olympians like that.
Fucking
But
challenges on,
I've been
man.
pretty fast in my neighborhood. I'll say neighborhood. Let's limit it to that.
Wow. Okay. I might decline on my offer.
Yeah.
No,
But it's amazing to me how diets are
Ah.
structured, and that going back to there's no right diet for everyone. And I would always recommend that if someone going back to those food choices, make it something exciting for them. Say, okay, here's a list of choices that are going to be for you. And I usually give a pretty big list of getting yourself some grass-fed beef. If you're vegetarian and you don't want to have that,
Yeah.
maybe putting something like lentils into your diet and chickpeas and all those good sources for yourself, lima beans, et cetera,
Right.
and creating complete proteins from your meals.
Wow.
But it made it more fun for them because they're like, can I choose something from this list, this list, this list, and this list and make a meal out of it? Absolutely, because they're all good sources now.
Yeah.
You're starting to learn and understand your body. And I would always say after 2 months, you don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
I hate the fact of when people pry on the knowledge and they use it as a stronghold on others, where they're like,
What do you mean by that?
you only come to me for advice and I'm going to give you a diet, but guess what? You're always going to need me to tell you what to eat.
Right.
Not going to let you teach it by yourself.
They think it's set in stone. One
It's-
thing, I got what I need,
it's
and
set in
I
stone.
run off
Great.
into the winds.
Yep, you've made me a meal plan. That
So-
sounds fantastic. These expert meal plans, I feel like, are so false and fake. It irritates me because there's not an expert plan for everyone.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's so annoying because it's like, hey, you ask me for a meal plan, I'll give you structured choices, but I'm trying to teach you how to make these choices for yourself
Got it.
by giving you these sources.
Yeah.
And then you go off after a month or two, you won't need me anymore because you've now learned how to do it. You've created a habit for
Yeah.
yourself after 30 days or something like that.
You know what's interesting? You want to touch up on something that John said before about how could you eat better when you're on the road, right?
Yeah, that's big for me now because the
Yeah.
more I'm moving about or traveling, if I'm gone for a month, I have a show coming up, I'm gone for a month, or even doing this podcast, we're gone for like a week. I wanted to make sure that as an athlete, I wanted to maintain muscle mass. I wanted to maintain my size because I like to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And everyone has that credibility. You want to look a certain way for yourself.
Correct.
And I was like, okay, John, I see what you're bringing with you. I need to take notes from this because let's say I'm on an airplane for half the day. What can I do for myself? And I'm learning a lot more tips.
Well, when my back is against the wall, I work my best. So I'm on the road now to do this and educate people and make them understand where we go in nutrition. And I'm in a hotel right now myself. You don't have a stove. Forget about eggs in the morning. You're not going to want to buy them when they make them because maybe the oils they use. And just when you have these different things into your body, when you're used to eating a certain way, you get sick. People don't understand this. And some do. You get sick.
That's what I was talking about. Your
Right.
body starts to say, hey, after 2-3 days, my body is like, I can't do this anymore.
Mine is
so used to it.
Mine is instantaneously. But what I wanted to say was me being on the road now, I just found a couple of really cool things. Could even be in a fucking dollar store too. Dried chickpeas, right? It's
Delicious.
not animal protein, but again, you're away for a little bit. Modify your diet. Clean out a little bit. Purge. I got dried chickpeas. There's a microwave. You still have oatmeal. You know, there's a refrigerator. You can still put strawberries in there. You got protein powder, right? I don't normally have that in the morning, but again, it's a small change. It's quality protein, right? I might not eat the foods I want, but sometimes when your back's against the wall, you got to be smart in how you circumvent it. You got to be smart on your food options. No, it's not an option. Okay, it's vacation to eat like shit. It's not that. You should always maintain the best control. You even if you're in McDonald's, you're in here and you have to get something. Okay, it's probably shit salad, but get the salad, right? Probably salad from the bottom of underneath the kitchen stove or something. Oh, I dropped that. Sorry, sir, you forgot this. And have a nice. Did you want chicken in there too? I didn't know. Oh, bye.
Yeah, you make up a good point because even when I was traveling recently, I was taking a flight which took up most of the day, and I was also in a hotel with limited resources and limited area to get
Sucks,
stuff.
sucks, right?
Yeah, so I said, okay, what can I do? I know that there's, I picked something selective. Okay, there's a restaurant here inside the hotel. I know I can
Yes.
get at least 2 meals there at night, running around for the majority of the day though. And
Yeah.
so I said, okay, what can I do? I started to stack either a protein shake in the morning, something I could get my nutrients in. I had the oatmeal inside the hotel room because they have the microwave.
Awesome. I had that this morning.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
bring these things like trail mixes or almonds. I usually take raw almonds with me on the go, and then
Good fat, right?
yeah, good fats, and it gives me the energy I need. And if I need something like, you know, what is it, like another protein shake, it's not going to be the most ideal and optimal thing, but at least I'm getting in something. You can even get a fruit shake, whatever is going to float your boat. But my point is, if you're on a schedule, you're going to have to break it because you're moving around or traveling somewhere.
No.
Just be a little bit smart, more methodical about it. Hey, you have to go 10 minutes out of your way to go to a supermarket to get 2 or 3 or 4 items. Or even better, if you meal prep before and you take it with you in a cooler, more power to you.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you can't do that, like the majority of people, just be smart with the choices.
You know what I'm noticing too, being on the road? The things that I want to have or the things that are at my disposal when I'm home, I just don't want them. But now I have them. For example, cottage cheese. I never buy the curd, the big one or the small one. I get the smooth one, right? You mix that with Splenda and a little cinnamon or stevia.
Oh wow,
Yes, and
actually
I put
sounds really
I
good.
even put a
And I'm
touch.
not a big cheese fan, but that sounds
I
really
even
good.
put a touch of honey. Now, why are you having this for, John? Why not cream cheese? Why cottage cheese? It's high protein, right? It's slow releasing right before bed. Now, I wouldn't do that at home. I might have me personally, maybe steak and eggs. Maybe sometimes I'll have some grilled chicken with a peanut butter sandwich. Believe it or not. So
It
my
make yeah, I see how you're adapting, which is actually
yes,
fascinating to
yes,
see
it's
because I wouldn't have thought about that. I would have been like, okay, let me just get a different shake in my body at night and then be done with it, or have a piece of chicken with some
rice or
salad or
something.
something like that.
But remember, some people operate differently. My back's against the wall. I still have help from my very good friends, my brother, but I've always been trying to be self sufficient because I'm used to not having much help growing up. I ask for help, but once I feel like my back's against the wall, I really have to optimize my choices and just not just go with what I'm doing. I got to balance the both because if I don't balance it, I can't be who I am right now, looking at you guys and looking at my buddy right here. Brings out the best side of you. Just like they say, you are what you eat, right?
Absolutely.
You see it in people, see people just sitting there sometimes like this. They look like their blood sugar is so low, they're not doing nothing for it. It's look at the energy that you're projecting. I'm not making fun of people. I'm saying that if there's a problem, maybe it's nutritionally linked. Maybe you should look into that too.
Well,
It
nutrition
helps.
nutrition is linked to everything. It's linked to mood. It's linked to positive reinforcement for yourself.
Yeah.
It's linked to good things that are happening. And I say the good things as far as, let's say I've had a really long stressful day,
Yeah.
and I've kept up with my nutrition. Reward yourself. It's okay. Have something that you think is unhealthy or that you wouldn't have wanted, because it's not going to do that much damage to your body if you're going to have one quote unquote cheat meal, or something that's going to be feeding your mind and stimulating something as a reward for yourself. Or eventually you'll adapt habits where, I have as a reward sometimes if I'm just sticking to something really strict. I have like the chocolate bars, but they're like 80% cacao, and
Okay.
it's bitter, but it satisfies that craving for
Cal's
myself.
a dark chocolate, right?
Dark chocolate,
Got
yeah,
it.
and it tastes delicious. Sometimes it doesn't float your boat. Have something sweet. Have something like maybe a fruit salad.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't that be better off? And
absolutely.
what I'm saying is that it's not impossible
Fuck
if you
this.
are stuck in different styles of
Situations.
eating.
Okay.
You can always change it, but you have to have a goal in mind because that goal is going to drive you to eat like that all the time.
Absolutely.
If you don't have something like that, it's more of a scatterbrain, and you're trying your best. But are you really trying your best if you have not set a goal for yourself? You haven't set something that you want to attain,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, by putting that psychologically in your brain, it automatically activates something with you that says, I'm going to now eat this because I'm now trying to attain this. Or, hey, I'm trying to eat this because I, in 10 years, want to be able to have a better metabolism.
Mm.
I want to feel healthier because the older you get, the more you're going to really appreciate this kind of stuff.
You're gonna need it.
Yeah, you are.
You're gonna need it. It's funny what you're talking about saying that. It's so important. Nutrition is so important. It's so overlooked too. By crazy situations. I don't have time. I work all day.
I hear that all the
You think I
time.
don't work all day? Come on.
Yeah, I hear that all the time with,
Ah,
I don't have time. And I feel is that your time is misplaced, or you just don't want to make time for something that's going to benefit you and your health. I mean, we all are trying to attain longevity, and the best way to put longevity within yourself is to eat. That it's that old
accordingly.
adage: you are what you eat, right? Plain and simple.
You're gonna look like what you eat too.
Most definitely. I want to get onto a topic of
I tell you,
also segment.
can I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
one more
please,
thing?
please.
When I had an interest in breakfast, I usually have. This is not on the road though.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
You told me about this too. I mean, it's pretty standard on
And
the
I want to
east.
tell you about this also.
The bacon and egg is a staple on the East Coast, if you hadn't known. But
People always like bacon, egg, and cheese. You just said McDonald's is bad. No. Well, yes, but this is my bacon, egg, and cheese. Try it out. I use Ezekiel toast. I know you said you don't like that. It tastes like the Holy Eucharist, you said, right?
you know what it is? I just
Like cardboard.
It does. It tastes like cardboard. I like it, but it's like if
Well,
you don't freeze it or something like that, it's gonna go bad in one day. It'll literally turn green
just
mold.
freeze it.
But
Just
that's how you
freeze
know
it.
how
Just
good it
freeze it.
is, right?
Yeah, well, it's so good that it needs to be preserved in the freezer. Do what I do. I open it up. I crack two pieces. You got to crack it the proper way. You smash it a couple times. You're like, ah,
Yeah,
so it's
'cause it sticks to
expensive.
itself. Yeah, it is
It's
expensive.
expensive Holy Eucharist. Now, when I use it, I don't really burn the toast, and I use coconut oil for the pan. I do a couple of soft scrambled eggs, and I used to put vegan cheese, but that shit just don't fucking melt. Just sits there. I can't eat cheese unless it's melted. So then I just go with cheddar cheese from the deli. All right, so there's a little problem. There's a little problem in everyone's food. Plus the little things like pesticides people overlook when it comes to their fruits. And by the way, store your fruits in a glass container in the fridge. It's better preservation, I promise. I've been there before too. I bought strawberries. I come back a day later. They got mold and
I've
fungi
seen
that
that
only
happen
you
so
see
many
on the bottom
times.
of your foot, God forbid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't eat this shit. And I start preserving my fruit too. So getting back to my sandwich, bacon, egg, and cheese, right there.
That sounds delicious. Even
It
with the
really is.
coconut oil and
It's
stuff
really
that you use on it too.
once in a blue. I even put some bacon. Well, you could use turkey bacon. That's optional. You ever try bison bacon?
I've never tried that. I like bison meat though.
Oh man, it's
It's not for everyone,
delicious.
but it tastes delicious.
Oh my god. There's a burger I had real quick. They mixed brisket in there with skirt steak and ground beef.
Wow.
I said, "Give me that. I'm gonna have sex with that thing. Give it to me right now. Give me that. How much you want, sir? Whatever's on the shelf." Yeah.
It sounds like a really nice comforting meal, like that comfort
Oh
food
man,
that's just gonna be there's your one cheat meal right there. It
that's
sounds
my cheat
delicious.
meal, and the final part of my cheat meal is a bunch of sweet potato fries, but burnt,
Well, can I
cooked well, crunchy.
can I go back on a point about cheat meals too? Is that
Sure.
I think people have a misconception of cheat meals sometimes where
Oh yeah, I know
they
where this is
eat
going.
so much
And so
in
bad
one
too.
cheat meal where it's like, my God, that's you've just created an entire day of food for yourself in one cheat meal. It's not
Carvel.
really a cheat meal. Not saying that you have to do one. Now, if you're on a diet and you want to follow it, and like we said, you have that goal in mind and you're working towards something and you want to reward yourself, it's okay to do that. It's not something that's sacrilege here. But put
Sacrilege.
yourself put yourself in the shoes of, okay, I want to have a cheat meal. I would say don't go overboard, because I've seen people
I know it.
pile the plates of
Ugh.
fries, or like have like triple burgers, but not just one. They got not just one.
But
You gotta
it's a
have two of
cheat meal,
those.
you said, right, bro?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No, you gotta improvise the cheat. Okay. You got to make sure it's a clean sheet. Like I said, bacon, egg, and cheese. You throw a dirty dirt bag all, probably thought about that, right? No, I get my Ezekiel toast. I do scrambled eggs. I don't cook it in hydrogenated oils. It's all coconut oil. And it's probably 98.9% natural. I don't know where I got my percentage from, but I believe in it.
Yeah, and I mean,
Those numbers
even
come to my head, 98.9.
and listen, coconut oil is not for everyone, but I promise you, the more you try it, the more the taste starts to wear on you in a good way.
It's a good fat. It's
Yeah,
actually
it starts to taste really good.
it's an MCT, what they call a medium chain triglyceride. Gives you a lot. It converts to energy very quickly too.
Speaking of diet, which oils would you avoid?
Cooking, or
Yes, cooking.
so
Cooking or ingesting on like a daily basis.
hydrogenated. When you see trans fat, that's what they mean. Those are the kind of fat, the kind of oils that they ingest. It builds up plaque around
Would you say something like corn oil and
your heart. Corn oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil. These are all trans fats. They're processed. Your body doesn't understand it. So I would say,
for the everyday person, what would you recommend to start to get a little bit healthy about their oil usage? I mean, I'm going to be biased here because, you know, the Greek Italian in me is going to say olive oil is king, but what would you recommend?
well, on that note, my brother just came back from Italy. I says, make sure you get me the good stuff. And he knows what that meant. Olive oil with that mushroom trump in there. Well, what is that called?
Oh, the truffle.
The
Yeah,
truffle. Oh,
that's a very oof. That's
I
a
gave it the truffle shuffle. I was drinking
yeah.
it before I came down here.
That
It was
is decadent.
so good. So I would cook with a cold
Yeah.
processed olive oil, extra virgin. It's got to be cold processed.
Why cold processed?
Tell you why. It should be cold processed because when they're making it, that's a sign, or that's indicative of them using low temperatures. So when they use high heating temperatures, which people do to produce very cheap, inexpensive olive oil, they call it expeller pressed. What that means, they use a high heating temperature. So let me get this shit over with. Burnt
Alters it.
alters all the nutritional value of it. It alters everything, man. The composition, the way your body's gonna break it down.
What do you think about Pam? That spray?
I think Pam.
Because I used to use it, and then I just felt like the taste wasn't there for me, and I started using
What is in
now
Pam?
coconut oils. It could be like a spray of any types of these oils, any of the ones we just mentioned, even olive oil, where you just spray it in a source, but it just comes from like an aerosol condensed can. I feel like it's not the same. It doesn't taste the same. It tastes artificial. It tastes tinny. It tastes
We should tell Pam to go fuck herself.
yeah, out of place.
Yeah. No, listen. I usually just use coconut oil sprays, um, olive oil sprays, grapeseed oils. Listen though, it depends on the person what they do. If they're in an office, I tell them to use the spray. It's less calories. If you're an
Right.
athlete or just in the gym moving, your body's gonna really utilize it. It's gonna use it. I would say just cook with a little bit of coconut oil. You should give them a little more calories because people alter their calories too low sometimes, and they wonder why. If
Right.
they're falling asleep at the desk, you still have a required amount of calories from certain macronutrients, even micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and water. But try to obtain the vitamins from food, something live, something from the ground, basically. Your body could recognize it. It could break it down. These other things that we're eating, yeah, they're convenient. I know you got to get back to your work in 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. It really should be planned, right? As boring as people think this might be, I drink my water. I bring it everywhere I go. I don't care what it looks like to people. I care what it looks like in the inside of my body when my metabolism is flowing better, right? I always tell people, younger people, like, what do you mean metabolism? Like, okay, that's fine. It's a question. There's no dumb. I mean, the only dumb question is no question. You ever go to Action Park? He's like, yeah. You got kids? Yeah. Wow, young age. Good for you. When you put them in the tube and they go down the slide, what makes them go down the slide? Water. So that's your digestive tract, the slide. You don't got something to dilute the digestive tract. Where's the food going? Is it going anywhere? Yeah, a little here, a little there, but not in all the proper places.
Mm,
You follow me?
I do.
So
I
this
do.
is why water is so important.
Now, touching up on a little bit of a topic of water,
Go ahead.
I wanted to talk about the benefits of having too much or having too little, because there's a lot of different percentages out there that it's hard to believe what is accurate for human body consumption. But you were telling me also, even with coconut water, that's why I, take it so much now, is because it does provide more of the nutrients for you, and it does provide more benefits than what normal water would have for your body.
1,000%.
It
Yeah.
almost doubles the effect of it, if that makes sense,
It
right?
magnifies it fully. The reason being is, what do you think people say don't drink water here or drink water there? I'm hearing now New York City water is not that bad as opposed to whatever state they bring up or country.
Yeah.
But understand something. There's supposed to be minerals in water. It's supposed to be, but it'd be so expensive that they wouldn't give it for free. So what would they do? Extract the minerals. Why is coconut water so important to answer your question? That's exactly what's in there. Minerals.
And the electrolytes.
Electrolytes are minerals. Sodium, magnesium, potassium. These things are responsible for muscle contractions, nerve transmission, sleep. It regulates your sleep. It even regulates your metabolism. People don't understand that.
Yeah, and I believe even the
They,
power of just having water over something like a can of Coca-Cola or a can of soda.
well,
I've replaced that because I used to be a big soda drinker way, way back, right?
yeah,
But at the same time as when I started to replace it with stuff like water or stuff like
you
coconut
felt
water,
better, right?
yeah, immensely better. And it becomes a habit, just like anything else. You're not going to like it at first if you're not used to it, but the more you start to drink it, the more you'll like yourself. But I always look at it as, I don't know. Is it accurate to say that you're drinking enough water if you're, let's say, going to urinate, right? And it's clear rather than it being a discoloration?
I've
Kind of
heard,
like how when you have asparagus, most of the time that you'll smell the asparagus if you're going to urinate. You know how pure it
yes, it
is
smells
running through
acidic.
you.
It smells
Yeah.
acidic. Well, I'm no urologist, that's for sure. But I will say this much. From what I've heard and I've actually read, when you're properly well hydrated, yeah, the urine might reflect like a clear color, right?
Yeah. So I guess that's a good point that we could maybe make in that way, in a sense of saying, instead of saying, hey, you need 1 gallon per person, or you need 8 fluid ounces times 6 per
Oh man,
day.
that gets all
It
complicated
gets really
when they
complicated.
start doing these numbers and stuff. I just tell people, listen, when you have your water, here's a couple of tips. Make sure it's room temperature. Right?
I agree with that too.
Yes, that'll help. That's not going to impede. It'll facilitate and help digestion.
And plus, you can
Cold
drink
water
more of
just
it too.
stink. Cup the cold water upon waking is great on your body, but body freezes up.
Yeah, and you
What do you
can't even drink
think?
the whole thing in one shot. You get brain freeze.
It's yeah, that too. But I tell people to drink the water way before your first meal or before any meals. So prep the digestive tract, prime it with water. There's a big difference when you're having water with food. For some reason, everything competes for absorption. You look more bloated. There's a lot of literature on that too. If you look into
I've
that,
adopted that too, and it has helped me because I have seen myself less bloated in a way as
see
well.
that you see that.
And I also am a big promoter of having hot water too, because it goes way back into ancient times as well as just having a hot beverage. But if you want to do something like teas, right? You have water,
You go
but
right to the
make
bathroom
it hot
too.
water.
That's
Yeah,
hot.
it's great. It's
It's
really great for
amazing.
you. Flushes everything out.
Little lemon in there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read up on that. Pink. So upon waking, I'm not very consistent with this, but you guys really want to get your bowels going quick in the morning. Hot water, lemon, a little bit pink salt, and a little honey. You go right. You
And
go
that's a
right there.
supernatural drink that you can have that
Yeah.
is not out of budget by any means. You just have to get the ingredients, right? And I feel like people are looking for all these kind of detox drinks that they look for to kind of push more out. But that's a really natural, healthy way to do it, and it's going to make you feel good
I
too.
think it's more effective than these things that they're buying. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
you got to look at what things that you need to facilitate digestion, bowel movement.
yeah. I'm actually going to show you. So it's hot. You said it could be hot water, it could be pink salt, pink Himalayan salt, right? And lemon.
So you get your boiled water,
Yep.
right? You put in a cup of water, maybe 8 ounces of a cup, a little lemon, real lemon now, squeeze lemon in there, and some pink salt, maybe 2 tablespoons, a little bit of honey, bro, just a little bit. Mix it up, drink it down. You're gonna go with 2 minutes. Me,
Fantastic.
20 seconds.
It's a very, very quick response.
Right, right. So I used to do that in the mornings. Now I just have water with lemon. Sometimes
That's my go-to
I
too.
don't want to mess right away. I don't
Yeah.
want to go to the bathroom right away. Sometimes
Especially if you're living with
moving slow.
with male or female in the house, you gotta do your due diligence there and protect the bathroom.
It's great, right?
But listen, this has been a really awesome topic to talk on, and we're definitely going to touch up on more of this stuff in the future episodes that we have. But just the basis of summing things up, diet is super important for you. Everyone knows that. It's not something that you can. That's not something that's rocket science, right? But what we were just saying is that,
Number one.
yeah, agree with yourself by making a goal, and it starts from there. It starts with you. It starts with the goal. Anyone is capable of it, even if you are considered in a category by society obese or whatever you want to call it, right? If you feel like you don't like what you see in the mirror, you can change it. Trust me. It's happened in my case where I wanted to gain weight because I was really, really skinny. And it's happened, I'm sure, for yourself where your body wasn't in the way that you wanted it to be and you can make alterations. And it all started with a goal.
It all
And then
started
from
with
then
the
on, you
Hulk
can
for
move.
me. The Hulk was it. I said, okay, I got
Big
work ahead
Louie.
of me now.
Well, brother, thank you for talking about this. Hoping that it really helped people. And if you have any comments, questions, as always, please subscribe. Leave a comment in the section below. Let us know how you feel. Let us know if you don't like certain topics. Let us know what topics you do like. We'd love to showcase those and highlight those to the best of our ability and the best of our knowledge and humanity. I'd like to put the humanity aspect in there, more importantly. But follow us on Spotify, Apple Music. Will be on Patreon, as well as having our merchandise store. I am John Kioskarides, one half of the Training Gain podcast. You can find me on Instagram at John_Kioskarides.
I just want to say one thing. Obviously, I'm John DePaulo, but listen, if you guys got questions about workouts, just question us, ask us what you want to hear us talk about. I love talking about this stuff. I really do. I like to give back, and this is more than one way I like to give back.
Absolutely. Thank you, my brother.
And one thing, when John said everyone, he said anyone could do it. Everyone could do it. Everyone could do it. I'm no better than you. I just make sure I put one foot in front of the other.
And same for me. We all have our own things going on with ourselves day to day. And the main thing that I have always looked at is that if you want to change, it's going to start with you, and it has to start with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We love y'all. And we hope to see you next week.
Have a great week,
Bye.
weekend, everything. Stay fit.
Stay fit, stay healthy.